This next problem is another one that involves a table of values. I've just reminded us up here of our newest derivative formula. The derivative of b to the x, an exponential function with b as the base, is just a multiple of that exponential function. The constant of proportionality is the natural log of the base. All right, then we've got this table of values for f and for g. We've got this function h of x, which is f of g of x plus 2 to the g of x. And we're asked to find h prime of negative 2. Now, I'll leave it up to you whether you want to pause the video and work that out on your own or whether you want to work through this one together. I will just say part of the directions are to clearly label your work so that I want to know when you're talking about h prime of x, the function, and when you're talking about h prime of 2, the number. Okay, so if I work through this, I'm going to say h prime of x. Now I'm taking the derivative of f of g of x. That's just chain rule. So it's f prime evaluated at g of x times g prime of x. Plus, now I'm taking the derivative of 2 to a power. So that's an exponential function. I know I'm getting a multiple of that same exponential function. And the multiple is just natural log of 2. So I get the natural log of 2 times the exponential function 2 to the g of x. Because that's a composition, I've got then chain rule times the derivative of that inside part, which was g of x. Okay, that's my formula for h prime of x. Let's now look at h prime of negative 2. So I'm replacing all of the x's with negative 2's. So we'll have f prime at g of negative 2 times g prime at negative 2 plus the natural log of 2 times 2 to the g of negative 2 times g prime of negative 2. All right, let's read these values off of our table. Now here, this is still f prime, but I can figure out what I'm plugging into that. G of negative 2 was negative 3 times g prime at negative 2. That's going to be this entry right here, so times negative 2, plus the natural log of 2 times 2 raised to the g of negative 2 was negative 3. And g prime of negative 2 was the negative 2. Now I still have some work to do because here this was f prime evaluated at g of negative 2. So what I got initially from the chart was that g of negative 2 was negative 3. Now I can get that when I plug negative 3 into f prime, I'm going to get negative 7. So we have negative 7 times negative 2 plus the natural log of 2. Now I can simplify that. 2 to the negative 3, well, that's the reciprocal of 2 cubed. So that's going to be 1/8 times a negative 2. Let's just come up here and simplify the arithmetic. Negative 7 times negative 2 would be 14. I'm going to bump that negative to the front of the term. So it's going to become minus. I can cancel the 2 with the 8. That's going to make the denominator 4. So it would just be natural log of 2, this first factor, over 4. All right. I do recommend that you write this many steps. You might have been comfortable saying in one step g of negative 2 is negative 3, and then f prime of negative 3 is negative 7. If you do that in one step and you get it right, you'll get full credit. But if you get confused in the process, and it's easy to make a careless mistake, and you just write the wrong answer, I probably can't follow what your thought process was. So you wouldn't get a whole lot of partial credit for this part if you tried to do 2 steps at once, got confused along the way, and came up with the wrong answer. So I do recommend trying to do things one step at a time.